26 points, and Manchester.
4
Listen,
points off.
it depends on who can have a good, like, one of those runs in the second half of the season to get
Well, it wouldn't
themselves.
be United. Like, if you're going to do this consistency thing, you're probably more back Newcastle to do it, even though we ain't seen that this season. You're probably going to say Chelsea could do that. You're going to say Liverpool. Sunderland have displayed more than that than United, even though prior to this run of games, United actually did. If you're talking run of games, then it's dark for Man United. But the saddest thing is, yeah, I know it's a cop out because they're the biggest team in the land. This is actually progress for Man United because of where they were. And
It
obviously,
is.
Spurs was thinking up the joint.
I mean, they were like down in like 15th or something last season. I mean, Manchester United, I think, are benefiting from the league being so volatile, but also,
Mm.
they're just kind of, this is where they are. I just I don't think they're, how hard it is to get from the European positions to consistent title challenging. It's not
It
easy to
looks
get
like
there.
that, but it's really that.
It's bigger. So, they're kind of where they should be. But like, I would not be fucking surprised if they lose to Leeds. I would not.
No one would be.
I
No,
wouldn't be
I
surprised
hope
if
that
they
happens.
lose
We need
to
a
Leeds.
successful
I
hate
wouldn't.
watch.
I wouldn't. Leeds are like on a little run. Like ever since they beat Chelsea, they've been doing like a little thing. Like Dominic Calvert-Lewin all of a sudden
Six and
is doing a
six.
little thing. So I'm like, listen, let's see how it goes. But like, really,
It's mad.
I don't give
And
a
you know
fuck
what?
about
Yeah,
the top four race. What
you
are we
mentioned
up to? What are we
you
up to?
you mentioned it slyly. You mentioned it slyly, and that the table's a bit volatile and things. And I always say from game week 10 onwards, and obviously we're 8-9 games removed from that. That's when it starts normalizing. That's where Aston Villa have been up and down. Liverpool have had up and down moments. We've had a wobble and generally been consistent. But now it starts to get a bit serious. But you are right. There actually ain't too much points. Now, granted, there's 6 points that separate first and third, but that's not even my thing. It's like
Yeah,
Spurs are not even out of the title. Sorry, definitely out of the title. Not even out of the top four race. Like, can you draw any real conclusions at the
not
moment with
really.
the table?
From
Apart from
like,
Wolves, because they're gone in it.
yeah, from like fourth to about 12. There's
That
not really much between those teams. If they drop a couple points and you pick up a couple points, you could end up in the European spots. Like it's really very this is like the strangest the table has been at this stage. Like usually after like you said, like the 10th game, things kind of solidify and people kind of pick up their spots.
yeah.
It's very much so because people are really dropping a lot of points. So you don't know what's gonna happen week to week. You have no idea. Consistency is just that's why I was like, as much as like I'm frustrated with us at times, I'm like, could be worse. You could
It
be in
could be
the
better, but sure as hell could be a lot worse. Is
like,
exactly what I
you
say.
know.
No, you're not wrong. And that's people will say, oh, you lot are being positive, toxic is a cop out. It's generally not. We can understand on one hand that we've got no divine right to win every game. We're not going to win every game. All of these teams, including us, are going to drop more points. But
Yeah.
considering all the factors that we haven't always been happy about the 90 minutes, about the attack, about the defense, with the injuries and this and that. Well, why is he not playing Eze? What's going on with Odegaard? Yada, yada, yada. We're 5 points clear with a game in hand, granted, and it could be cut to 2. And that's a question to ask you. Even though I make you right, yeah, should it be more? Because if I'm honest with you, I think so. I think we should have 4 extra points. I don't know if my maths is great or even more, really, because we should have held on against Sunderland and got 2 extra points. I think we should have got 2 extra points against City because I'm not happy with how Arteta approached the first half. To be fair, we should have got a point at Anfield. Now, I know it didn't pan out, but should we have more of a lead? Or am I being a bit not humble, I guess? Like, I should be maybe being a bit more humble.
No, I think that that's the context that I think a lot of Arsenal fans have that was really frustrating between kind of like the Sunderland, Chelsea, Wolves kind of games is that we left some really like some significant points on the table there where I can maybe give you some leeway like on playing the Liverpool and Man City. I get that those are tougher games. I really can't understand why we couldn't hold on in some of them games. The late goals that we were giving up were starting to really like, great, really great, and the performances were not good. So if you win, you hold on in those last seconds against Sunderland, and you hold on in those last seconds against Villa, what do you have? Like, 3 more points? And so
And
now
how
you're
much more happier would we be? It'd be a
yeah,
madness.
you're 5 points clear instead. And I'm not even asking about the Liverpool game that was really kind of fucked up. I'm not gonna lie. That game was like, what are we doing? And then the City game, where we should be beating them at home when they're not in good form. So yeah, we should be up by more. But we also have to remember that, like, it's not like we had our whole team and, we were going through some shit. Like, we went to Aston Villa with a chopped back line. That back line was chopped.
And
Like,
the
it
battery
really
was
was.
dead. If we were iPhones, there's 2% battery, man. We looked shot, like we were dead.
Yeah.
We were dead, like we were dead. And there was still some courage, and it was courageous. Unfortunately, we lost, and that's something. And me and you have spoken about this before. Like, I'm still the one thing that will make me believe even more. I need to start seeing us put together some really good performances in general, but away from home. The only time, like my most favorite game so far this season would still be Newcastle away. In it, any adversity, we boxed smartly, we done our thing. But then the Sunderlands, the Chelseas, the Liverpools, etc., etc. Like, I don't think we've been good enough on the road. That's kind of what I want to see. And then I'm like, yeah, do you know what? My hot take, I think I said this to you the last time. There's no context behind this. I can't even tell you when we play these lot. But I think if you beat City at the Etihad, something we ain't done in a million years, then I genuinely think, yeah, cool, we're winning the league. I genuinely feel that. But that's a hot kind of take.
Yeah, I think I think in a title race, like, as much as we want to do like the data and the maths on it and say, okay, this is the formula. You need to, beat all the small teams home and away. And then you need to make sure you beat your title rivals at home and not lose to them away. There's always a moment, I feel like, in a title race that turns the screw, kind of like, or turns the things in your favor. And it comes with some sort of win that maybe you weren't supposed to get. And that, like, turns the tide. I feel like every single title race pretty much has like maybe one of those, like a big win. And unfortunately, we don't have very many more opportunities to take that big win because we've played a lot of the big teams away from home already and haven't done well. Like you said, I think Newcastle is pretty much like the only one that we've gotten over. And can we really consider Newcastle really that big of a team? Like, not really,
No,
So
but you're right. But at the no, they're a big team. But at the point,
I hear what you're saying.
When we played them, though, yeah, they said that. Well, you know what, Jess? They've said a number of times, yeah, this season, and it happened against Newcastle. I'm not Newcastle, sorry, Aston Villa. A number of times, oh, this is the biggest game of Arsenal season. Everyone knows how difficult it is, St. James Park, which I make them true. So then, I'm not saying you're saying this, but just in general, people will say that going into these kind of games. And then when we play them, they find cop-outs. Like, I don't necessarily think Aston Villa was a statement victory to the world. But I think it was a statement to us because me and you have been very clinical of how we create chances, whether that's our players or Arteta. But in recent weeks, it's been more about conversion. Whatever way I look at it, second half, you smelt blood. Man, them were converting chances. I actually was very impressed in the first 45 minutes against Brighton. But going back to what you said, whether it's conceding in the last minute 90 or the last half an hour, we're making games a bit too, like, our fans are on seats, edge of seats for no reason. That's what we need to learn.
Yeah. Villa was like you said, the Newcastle game, when we get beyond this, Aston Villa will feel like Newcastle, where you look back on it and be like, it was big at the time, but ultimately, like, it's not like you beat City, right? But it was big at the time based on the context around where we are in the season.
And they're running Emre versus Arteta and all of that jazz.
Yeah, they said Newcastle was like, if we don't win that game, we're out of the title race. So I totally understand that. But I think, like Ash was saying, like, I think in the comments, that there is a game coming up soon that could end up being one of those games, which is Liverpool. Liverpool, I'm telling you right fucking now, that these idiots are going to bend over the next time that they play City. They're going to bend over. They're going to bust them wide open. But when they play against us, when they play against us at our spot, they're going to be playing like it's a Champions League final. They're gonna be playing like it means more because City pool, right?
Do you think teams generally like up their game for us? Because that's something a lot of us fans consider. Like, oh, when we play, we're doing madness, and then the other side. Do you think there's something in that?
I do, because I forget who said it, but obviously they don't say it at the time, but they'll say it later on when it doesn't matter anymore. Your fans are not going to feel any type of way about you saying it, but there are just certain teams like that, it's a write-off. You're going to do as much as you want to do, but you basically go into it like, it's a write-off. And I feel like, because City is one of those games for a lot of teams. I think with us, there's an element of like, we could still probably get them if we do this, because we haven't proved that we're inevitable in that way, where City are kind of like, fuck it, Holland's just going to do it, right? And so I do think there's an element of like, you know, because we'll let a game go through 45 minutes and it'll be 0-0. We give them something to hold on to, and then they start playing hard and all that kind of stuff. City don't do that. They don't let that happen. And even if they do, they'll smash them in the second half right away as soon as
And you've got Haaland, as you said.
yeah, exactly. So it's not so much that I think like everyone hates us and everybody loves City, but I think like we don't beat them in the tunnel the way that City do. And so that's the thing. You know, they're the only team that I know of that I know for a fact is going to show up against City, because they have they're the like they love themselves so much that they'll show up and play big for them. Is going to be Man United. They still may get slapped, but there's I feel like they're the only team that I know will go in there and be like, we have something to prove. Like we're Man United. You know, they'll do it. But everybody else,
yeah, United, and then they get the notes.
everybody else is gonna be like, oh well, fuck it, it's over. You know what I mean? So we have to win like every single game. Like we have to actually like stay ahead of City. Like it's really, yeah, it's really like, because everybody's gonna be playing us hard, but they're gonna start. I've seen it before.
No, you're not wrong, yeah, but that's what I wanted to ask you, just based on that, yeah, like, should we be in that territory? Granted, we're not City, we ain't won the league and stuff, and I'm not saying this to say it's something to be great about, but we've been second, we're inevitable to a degree from set pieces, we know what the manager does, we know we've got some good players, we know we've got individual quality. Surely we should be in that realm where, not that people aren't going to try, because people have tried against City, innit, but like, why are teams still having a goal? Surely we should be one of those where we're in the tunnel already. Oh my God, it's Arsenal. We're going to lose. It's over type of thing.
I think we had that. Like we really like we were really close to having that at the back end of that 23-24. Because there were just games where I remember rivals would start watching the thing, and then the opposition would just almost like they would just capitulate right away. Like, and we were scoring goals in like the 4th minute, right away, game done. And then we'd slap them up like 4-0 in the first half. So we were building that, and then we lost it the next season, because then we became a team where you could come to the Emirates and you could get something. I think you could build it, but it can easily be torn down by, you know, you not performing in one season. So we're trying to rebuild that, and we haven't really done a good job of doing it this season either. I still think teams have a go at us. I think when you go into multiple games 0-0, teams get confident. When you haven't scored in the 70th minute, they get confident. They feel like, well, fuck, we can get something. So what happened against Villa has to happen more, where I think we should have obviously done better in the first half. But when you get the first goal, you have to hit them right away. We scored the first goal, and then the next goal went in like a couple minutes later.
We smelled blood for once.
And they were finished. At 2-0, it was done. They were demoralized. You know, so we have to learn how to hit while the iron is hot, and we just haven't done that this season. So if we continue to be able to do that, teams will start to come to the Emirates and say it's a write-off. But right now, if I was a coach, I'd say probably to maybe get something. Let's just try this little deep block and see what happens.
No, I think you're bang on the. I think you're bang on the money, man. I think, you know, I look at the Villa game, and obviously it's the Premier League. Sometimes you're gonna have to live dangerously. You're gonna have those moments. They came in hindsight. They were probably a lot more. Scared's not the right word, but they were a lot more scared than I thought. Obviously, we know Emirates had our number. We know the big game hype around it, the 11 game unbeaten run. I think the first half, they were quite good. They were trying to frustrate us. They were counter-attacking. There's some half chances where they didn't take advantage of. The first half, we could have done better. Second half, we smelt blood. We went for the kill. That's what I want to ask you, though. Like, why does it obviously isolate the Aston Villa game? But I'd say from the Wolves game to now, yeah, we've been creating chances. Like Brighton, we should have probably had the same kind of scoreline. Why were we so clinical against Aston Villa versus in previous weeks or historically? Is it the mentality? Is it Arteta's tactics? Is it a bit of both? Like, is it the fans and the energy and whatnot? Like, what is it? Because that was, I don't think it was a statement win, but I think it was a statement win to us. Like, we can score goals. We can go over them hoodoos. We can go into halftime thinking like there's something and just smell blood and do our thing. Like, where do you stand on that?
I feel like it's a couple of things. I feel like we were creating enough chances in the last like 3 games or so. Against Crystal Palace, we created a lot of chances. Against Brighton and Everton. We hit the post a couple times. Like we were due a big win at some stage. I think that's a part of it. But I also feel like there's we don't have a striker that does this, but we have a center back that does this. And a lot of times when you have a player that takes the pressure off by scoring a goal, it relieves the pressure off of other people to relax. I think that person that steps up, like all goals are not created equal. The first goal, the opening goal and winners are worth so much more than the third goal. And that's not to
the
say
game state.
100%. Equalizers, winners, the first goal, those things help change the narrative of a game. Gabriel does that for us, and he's almost like our Haaland in that way, because Haaland does that for them. He usually will score that first goal in the 4th minute, and that just relieves the pressure. And Arsenal need the pressure to be released, because I don't think we have players that are super confident in front of goal like they should be. So I feel like that's why, like, we instantly were so relaxed after Gabriel scored that goal. We were good at the beginning of the second half, but you could just see that they were like, okay, we can do this now. They're taking more shots. They're cutting them open. They're jumping in front of the Aston Villa players. And so I wish we had a player that could do this up front, but we just don't have it. So that's why we rely a lot on that, like that corner or that free kick or set piece to open the game up for us. And it usually comes from Gabriel because it relieves the pressure. You have to relieve the pressure at some stage.
He's a protagonist, man. Like, if it's not him,
Yeah.
it's Rice. We'll talk about Saka, and I know he's not exactly everyone's flavor of the month, but it's Bukayo. Like with Gabriel Magalhaes, especially from dead balls, if he doesn't win the first ball, he wins the second. And you could argue the second ball is probably the most difficult thing to anticipate. I make you right with what you said about goals. First goals kind of throw game plans out the window. The last goals can be sucker punches. When you've got your 2s and your 3s and you're adding to the scoreline, it just further like jabs in it. The team's already dead. So you are right. But again, I just don't know what it's down to, because that wasn't necessarily our best 11 out there on paper. You can't have a best Arsenal team without Rice. But in terms of being clinical in that second half and smelling blood, I haven't seen that in a while. Like, to be honest with you, in terms of being clinical, prior to that, and maybe I'm capping a bit, it feels like this season I've only really seen that in the champs. Atletico comes to mind. Bayern Munich comes to mind.
The exact same way.
Exactly.
When you really Atletico Madrid, because I just looked it up, Gabriel scored the first goal, and then the next goal that we scored was 5 minutes later. So it's just Gabriel is our most important player in both boxes. Without him, we concede a lot. As soon as he came off, we conceded. And he opens up the game for us like Haaland does for them. He's arguably our most important player. So yeah, it's like the question that Valeria is asking. And that's just how we are right now. I think at some stage we're going to need an attacking player to have the same impact as Gabriel. And I know that's what we wanted from Gyökeres. I know you'll ask me about that later, but we don't have that. So we have to lean on Gabriel to kind of be that person. And to be honest, if we win the league with Gabriel opening up most games with a set piece,
we don't care. We got parades.
I don't give a fuck. I really don't, but when you look at a lot of our games, especially the ones where they were like, we weren't really scoring early and we were struggling, Gabriel usually opens up the scoring and then things start to go from there.
It's a bit of a weird one in that, when you look at a couple of our, even going back last season to City, if I remember correctly, it was either 1-0 to us or 1-1 at halftime. Then obviously second half, once we smell a bit of blood, we start partying. I'd say that's the next step we've got to go at. Like we're not amazing. Oh, and I know it's an illusion because you can't really, but we're not really amazing over 90 minutes. We're good for the majority of it, but then there's a great passage of play. And this was the first time in a while, which we keep saying, that we actually smelt blood. When you look at this, though, does this give you any kind of confidence? Because they say we're not entertaining. For XG, we've got the most in the Premier League. Goals conceded, we got the fewest. XG conceded and goals conceded, we got the fewest. With everything we've been talking about, the good, bad, and the positives, like, does this give you optimism? Like, does it make you optimistic that we're going to make this? We're going to get used to scoring 3s and 4s, or is it a wait and see thing for you? I don't know.
Because we have every capability to do it. We've seen it before. I know that these players are not the most clinical, but I know I've seen them play multiple games where they go 3-0, 2-0, 4-0, 5-1. Things. I know they can do it. So they just need to all get on the same page. And I think what we really need is some luck with injuries and be able to put together a solid team, especially at the back. if our back line is solid, then everything in front of it'll kind of fall into place. But without that, we're just so like those days where we were going like Mascara, Hincapié, Timber, it was dark. It was dark. It was dark. Yeah. And to survive that, that's why I couldn't say anything bad about Hincapié because I know that this is hard for you, babe. I know this is hard for you, babe. They threw you in there.
Right.
You're not standing next to Saliba. You stand next to Mascara. You're standing next to Timber. It's dark, you know.
It's the blind leading the blind, man.
I get it, bro. Like I get it. So, yeah. But in terms of, you know, like seeing the XG and all that kind of stuff, we see it. We know in the last couple of games we've created more than enough to score. Our players just have to put the ball in the back of the net. They need to relax, you know, and hopefully the Aston Villa game is a catalyst for that to happen.
Exactly. And obviously that's a great segment into me and you have been defending this guy. We've had no leg to stand on. He was bloody brilliant against Brighton. He was fantastic against Aston Villa. Let your apologies be as loud as your disrespect. And I know he needs to do a lot more. I know he needs a body of work. Form is temporary, class is permanent. Odegaard has been doing his thing, but I don't want to be the only one speaking about Odegaard. I've said my piece. Chat to me about the captain, man, the class region.
Is this thing on? Let me get on. Let me
take it away, man.
Guys, it was one bad season, and some of you guys took it way too freaking far.
Too far, man.
You guys took it way too far. I told you guys we took it too far. And the thing is like there was a 3-game period before he got re-injured where it was so clear to me that he was back. He just needed to continue to play. You can tell when Odegaard is good because he bounces off of players in a good way. Like he can actually like hold his own physicality. The little swivel is back, you know, the little shimmy is back. He's confident. You know what it looks like because we've seen when he is and when he's not. It was just one season. And of course, like he deserved the criticism, but when you go from like he's our player of the season to we need to get rid of him, he's holding us back, I hate him, like, you know, lock him in a dungeon, he doesn't deserve to eat tomorrow, then I'm like, okay, we've taken it way too far. You know how I feel about Odegaard. I think to personally, I think, you know, the last 3 games, Everton, Crystal, Brighton,
even Everton, if I remember rightly, even Everton as well. Like,
yeah, he looked better, and we looked better in terms of the passages of play were there, and those natural automatisms were there. We just didn't put the ball in the back of the net. The key for Odegaard now is not to just be the player that keeps the game ticking because he does that with his eyes closed. What he needs to do is continue.
Let your knots hang pop out your chest, man.
And Aston Villa, 100%. You need the goals and the assist as well. But to just see people being like, yeah, man, let's just be honest. Like, you know, we were still talking about Eze, but Odegaard's class. The fuck, what were you guys talking about? I love
Arsenal fans don't know how to act, man. Some Arsenal fans just, I think, don't deserve nice things because you can have these, you can criticize Odegaard when he's doing bad, rightly so. When 100%. He's doing good, you can give him his praise. But then you got Eze, you got Odegaard, you don't know how to act. This one's I've seen people waffle about Eze positively and negatively. You know, now people are saying, "Oh, Eze, I don't know if he's going to get any first team football and all of these kind of things." With me, with Odegaard, I just need a body of work. That's it. Like, I just need a stay fit body of work because that, rightly so, it has only been 2 games. That's all. That's my thing with him. He's one of Arteta's favorites, whether people like it or not. He's central to the press. He receives off the centre halves. You see him drifting and doing his thing in the middle. He's normally the pass before the pass. I don't think people want to really speak about it, but I saw some tactical saying, "Oh, him and Zubamendi getting each other's face." Did you see them against Villa? Stop chatting shit.
I wanted you to bring this up as well because I kept seeing that and I was like, how can you say that these players do not work together if you have not seen them play together for more than 2 games?
Exactly.
Like Odegaard's been injured the whole time. You guys were happy to let Rice and Zubamendi work out the kinks of their partnership, but it was like, Odegaard, no, fuck that. Like, of course they're going to work good together, you guys. Like, let's be serious. Like, there was a passage against Aston Villa where like Odegaard pops it up and then Zubamendi heads it back to Odegaard and Odegaard heads it to Marino. Marino heads it down. Odegaard grabs it and then shoots. And then Emi Martinez, they got the thing, whatever that thing is, the San Sebastian, Real Sociedad, whatever, they got that. Of course they can play well together. You guys just didn't want to give it time because you wanted him out the team more. You wanted him out the team too bad. I'm so sorry. I'm never gonna let that go. When he's on it, which obviously he needs to continue to be on it, he's one of the best midfielders in the league.
Exactly.
I need you to be
Technically, he's
so
one
for
of the best
real.
midfielders in the world in terms of his technical ability. Odegaard, I just need you to do it more. It's simple as that.
I
Because
agree.
sometimes Odegaard, I'm not gonna lie. As much as me and Jess are happy now, it has been dark. Sometimes when you back players, you need them to give you something. And
It was
I
dark.
remember sat here, yeah, and I'm lying through my teeth. I'm like, you got to remember, he's had a kid. I don't even know why I keep mentioning he's got a kid. People are throwing it out in the comments.
It's been
Even
tough.
me, I'm thinking, bro, you're waffling, you know. But Odegaard, I need you to like. I need this, captain. I need you to
I
do
need
this.
it
The
too.
fact that he's
Yeah.
shooting as well, like he put his foot through it. This is
Yeah.
what I need.
He needs to keep doing this too, because I just feel like we're such a good team when it's not just him. It's not just him, but I think we're really, really good when he's playing well. Because he's central to everything. So everything kind of feels less fluid when he's not playing good. And him and Zubamendi have they have the opportunity to be so sick, because whatever was going on, that synergy, I was like, that goal, it fed generations. Like, it really did. I was like, what?
Even the last goal as well, man.
Yeah, it was crazy because they almost had the same thing against, I want to say it was whoever we played, Brighton, where Odegaard passed it to Zubi and Zubi hit the post. They have the opportunity to do something. They just need to play together more. And when it comes, I know that people are concerned about Eze, because Eze,
but why are they concerned?
He's been an unused sub for 3 Premier League games now.
Has it been 3? Was it 2?
I think so. I think it's been 3 games.
Brighton, Villa. Was it Everton? Was Everton one?
He did not come in against Everton.
Yeah, he's been on the bench. But then he's played there before that, though. Like, that's what I mean, just because me and you've had this conversation before, yeah. I wish everyone could play fair amount of minutes. I wish we could play 12 players, yeah. Odegaard's obviously central to Arteta's system. But if Arteta was kind of seeing Odegaard like Eze, like if Eze could literally do the pressing and all that kind of crap that Odegaard does, you'd see them in and out the side. For me, if your name ain't Timber, Raya, Saliba, Magalhaes, Rice, or Saka, I kind of see you as interchangeables. I do think a lot of our players are hot and cold. Like, as much as I like Odegaard, I just need a consistent level, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
but,
I think we'll get it, because I feel like those 3 games in between where he got injured and then the couple of games that we had now, it just feels so different than last season, where you're kind of squinting to see the form. I'm not squinting. I can see it now, and it's coming through. So as long as he can do that, it's fine. But with Eze, I'm sorry, I kind of agree with Mikel, because I think his whole playing time went down, and it was naturally going to go down, you guys. Odegaard was always going to come back into the team and reclaim his spot. I don't think it was ever in jeopardy. He's the captain. When you're the captain, you don't sit the bench. I'm sorry.
And holding it down on the left is bad news for Eze as well, because that could have been your thing.
Yeah, so I'm like, it was never gonna be that. But when you fall asleep on the back post like that, I've seen Arteta do that to Martinelli years ago. Martinelli was never seen again after he had one moment where he didn't track back and they scored. This was years ago. Arteta doesn't play that, so I think with Eze, he just has to buy his time to get his time back. Like, he has to wait it out. But just like people were saying, Odegaard needs to fight for a spot, and so needs to fight for a spot, and he's also going to have to fight for a spot. And it's not like he's fighting against bums. Again, when Odegaard's on it, he's one of the best midfielders in the league. So if Eze wants to take his spot, he's going to have to be exemplary. And I don't think what he did in the time that Odegaard was gone it wasn't anything to really write home about. So we're lucky that we have a player like Eze that's not even really in the fold, because we have so many good players, but he is going to be used at some stage. But it's tough, because when Trossard is playing good and he has the bit between his teeth and he's like, I'm that guy, it's tough. Trossard's one of the most I'm that guy in this team.
Modern day Freddie Ljungberg for us. Our best performing attacking player for the whole season so far. When it's all said and done right now.
Trossard is tough to get that spot away from. And I think he fits better with the team at times, because he kind of knows what we're trying to do. He's extremely intelligent. He tracks back, he works hard, he has end product. It's tough, but Eze is stepping up to a team where the levels are just higher, and he's gonna have to step up his levels. That's just what it is.
And that goes for everyone. Like, obviously, I wish Odegaard, like, if I typed in Odegaard's season highlights on YouTube and Odegaard plays like that every week, and I done the same for Eze, there's nothing in it between you two. As much as Arteta might talk about pressing, let the best man win. We're not here to make friends. I like, as much as I like the kumbaya thing we've got, we're not here to make friends. We're here to win games. If you don't want to be on the bench, grab your spot. I've never seen Trossard smile as much as he's been smiling, because he's not previously at Arsenal. He's been a bit part player. Arteta, he's made himself so vital. It would be foolish for Arteta to keep him out. We are stronger and more likely to get 3 points with him in the side. That's what I want. I want Arteta to. I need to get Eze and Odegaard. I can't drop Rice or Zubi. If I don't do that, let me play something. Let me play Eze off the left. Oh shit, Trossard's form is out of this world. Saka's doing this. Whoever's in defense. Oh, I feel like I need to play Wanyeri. He's taking his chances. Miles Lewis-Skelly. These are the issues we need. We need a squad. Eze's had his moments and he'll have his moments again, but this is the reality of what we're trying to achieve. Before we continue, big up you lot in the chat. Keep them coming. I've seen certain questions. We will make time for them at the end, so keep them flowing. One love for the super chats, people. Let me read them out. Diallo, Happy New Year, Mr. DG, and the beautiful Miss Jessica. Hoping this is going to be our year. Bring home them trophies. Let's have a mega parade. One love, man. What's F said? Jack from AFTV has a theory. I don't know who Jack is, but big him up. That Arteta hasn't forgiven Eze not tracking cash at Villa, hence him only starting versus Wolves since. I kind of hear it. I'm a bit in two minds, because I do hear it. Managers do that. But I think Arteta has to have known Eze, and it's something for Eze to learn. You're not the most defensively switched on. He did make a mistake, so I understand punishing him. But mistakes are mistakes, and any professional footballer knows. I mean, manager knows. Man make mistakes. Magalhaes this season has made mistakes. Mascara's made mistakes. Everybody has made mistakes. It's not just obviously mistakes of that ilk. Not finishing your dinner is a mistake. So that's what I mean by we're not here to make friends, innit? Like, this is the reality. No one's gonna kill you. Do your thing.
But I'll be honest, I've actually enjoyed Arteta's more ruthlessness this season. I feel like he's been more ruthless. I think so, because I think in the Villa game, he yanked Eze and Marino at halftime.
But one of them was knackered anyways. You probably shouldn't have even started Marino.
I feel like he's been more like urgent to like take people off or whatever when things aren't working. And I think what happens with Eze, I don't know if he's just like punishing him, but I think it was just the perfect storm for Odegaard to come back in and Eze to be eased out. And now it's just harder for him. But Arteta does not play that not tracking back shit. And unfortunately, it was just glaring. It was glaring. He switched off, and I don't know. But Eze's gonna play a big role. We have Champions League games come. Let's talk about Zubamendi.
Zubamendinho better than Thomas Partey. You lot that were trying to tell me he's not 30 are chatting shit. And you know what I will say? If you think Zubamendi is good right now, where he's been there for 3, 4, 5 months, this Zubamendi is going to look shit compared to the one that's going to be there, in it. He's not going to, obviously he scored. He's never going to grab headlines. He makes everyone look better. And if I'm honest, I don't want to be snooty. Whether you rate Zubamendi or not, or he becomes a guy or not, there's a certain level of intelligence you need to see what he does for Arsenal Football Club in midfield, specifically with Rice, etc. That's me though, Jess. Please, because I feel like I'm alone. I've been gassing it. You're the guest. What are you saying for Zubi? Because him and Odegaard, I needed this.
You asked me like a couple weeks ago, was I scared for Zubamendi to play in?
I was shook. I was scared. Jess, I'm looking at you for answers that I know you can't give me. I'm scared.
But that's fine. Like I understand that, because with Zubi, I always know that I'm like, there's going to be elements where he's not the strongest, and he's not up to the physicality there. That's just 100%. There naturally. But what he gives you is so beneficial that I'm okay with the odd, like, oh well, he got shrugged off there, because he's so switched on. He's more than like just a normal 6. He gives you so much going forward. He's just so good. I can now
builder in the making.
Yeah, I can see why Arteta was so desperate to get him.
That's our rotary.
Yeah, I can see it. He's just Yeah, if we could get Rice, and I don't know how long Rice is gonna be out, but if we could get at least Martin and Martin playing together consistently
Fucking hell,
and
they're both
getting
in Martin,
that
isn't
synergy,
it?
they could do madness because they both have that thing where they know when to slow things down, when to speed things up. They kinda know how to find space and where to go. Like, he was so instrumental in the 3rd goal, like Zubimendi. He just ran into that space, he was out wide, he took the ball off of whoever was on that side, then Trossard
Big up
took over.
Odegaard for his involvement as well.
Yeah, so there's just a lot that Zuby does that I feel like is not seen, but even the things that you do see, it's like, wow, he really is. You can see why that was a huge pickup for us and why we waited and why we were so desperate to get him. And I think out of all of our summer signings, he's been the best one and he's looked the most at home. And I'm not surprised because he's just clear. Like
Don't
he's
shoot me, Jess. But
mm,
you said something there, yeah, and I agree. But then I kind of flip it because if I'm just looking with my first thought, I'm with you. I think Superman, for what it's worth, I think all of the summer signings, you're doing good. I think you've got capacity to be better and be great. Obviously, minutes are like expectations adjusted. Like this, the way I might be looking at Gyökeres might not necessarily be the same I'm looking at Eze, or the expectations I have for Eze are very different from Madueke or Mascara, or you get where I'm going with it, innit? I think you're right with Zubi. But I think for me of the summer signings, and I know he ain't been in for a minute. I think Mascara has been the one that's impressed me the most. Maybe because me and you have spent forever gassing Zubimendi. We've chased him for years, so it's like I know you've been good. Maybe it's more of a breath of fresh air, but I'd say Mascara and Madueke are the ones I'm like I kind
but
of understand why you're here.
I feel like impress and who's been the best are 2 different things,
True, very
because
true.
when somebody impresses you, I think it's because you didn't have super high expectations or you weren't
Yeah.
quite sure about this person. I think Zuby has fit I do feel like he's fit in the most seamlessly, but,
Mm.
I mean, I miss Mascara down. Like, that first performance that he had at Anfield, I was like, "He's ready." And I think where, Hincapié and Timber weren't so they didn't fit right. Like, he's just such a perfect, like,
It's like he's always been here.
yeah, he's like a twin tower, just like Saliba and Gabriel, and we need that. Our center backs, like Arteta always says, need to be fast. They need to be tall. They need to be able to pass from the back. They need to be able to do all those things. And Miss Mascara, I can't wait for him to come back because he was so good. But again, Hincapié has been great. I love Calafiori. It's not that I don't like those players. I just think Mascara was like fire. Like I do. He only had like one bad game, and that was the one against Newcastle.
Yeah, when he
And
got hooked at
again,
half time.
Arteta hooked him at halftime. Those are just not things that we see from Mikel that often.
And that ruthlessness is going to get us over the line. And like logically speaking, if you want to achieve something in life, you have to be a version of yourself you haven't been before. When it's all said and done, we've had disappointments, but we've been good in the last 3 years. We need to be great. So whatever I believe, as much as me and you are waxing lyrical about Odegaard and Zubi, we need more. Mikel Arteta, whatever you think you're good at, you need to become great at it, innit? Because being good has not got us over the line. It's been a great thing. Big up everybody in the chat. This is an interesting question, Neil. Before I circle back on this, because it's on brand with the Zubimendi stuff. Dallo, appreciate the super chat. Eze will cook when the sun comes in March, man. I hear it, man. Listen, any player who wants to cook at any given time, do your thing in it. That's what you, me, Jess, everybody wants, by hook or by crook. I don't really care about individuals this season. I just want my silverware. If we win the league, and I don't know, God, I don't know how it's going to happen, but Gyökeres is in shouts for golden boots. Eze and Odegaard are chasing the assist record. We're getting all the clean sheets. Great. But if we win the league and Kai's got single digits, Gyökeres has got single digits, Saka's got whatever, and we do this, I don't give a flying fuck, I'll be honest, man. But love for that. Do you agree with this? Because this is a good question, actually. Do you agree there's no settled 6 in our squad? All our midfield do midfielder things. I think it's Zubimendi, but I get where I think he's saying in that in the game state, Zubi might be further forward or whatever. But where are you with that?
I think it's fluid. I think that, you'll see Declan Rice in those deeper positions. You'll see Odegaard in those deeper positions. I think
Exactly. Yeah.
everybody in our midfield needs to be comfortable in advanced positions and in deeper positions.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that like they have that, but Zubimendi is definitely the 6. But they're all comfortable doing midfielder things. So
Let me
that's
ask you this. Do you think Zubimendi, we could get more out of him in the final third? I know he's getting goals, but can we get more of him in that? And I only ask that because could that get more out of our strikers, whether it is Kai or Gyökeres, whoever the hell's up there?
Yeah, I think so. I think Zubi, something that I don't feel like we've fully unlocked yet is his passing in and around the box
Mm.
yet. And I feel like he's making
Right.
late man runs, and if he can just, you know, he maybe just keep being at the right place at the right time, we can. Because he does pop up in good positions. He does take quite a few shots, so
Mm.
Zubamendi has those capabilities.
And them
So
little
of
flicks in
course,
the box as well that haven't quite gone in, man. But he loves a little
exactly.
flick.
That little nasty
Touchable.
flick that he did against, I don't know who that was, but it was like the little flick behind the back. I was like, is this
Couple
Burkitt or is
times this
this
season.
Zubamendi? What's going on? Oh, but I do have a question for you though.
Go ahead.
If Rice is out for longer, who, like, I know it probably will end up with Marino, but would you like to see Arteta do something else? Because Marino has that thing that I don't begrudge him because it's not really his fault, but he's really easy to get by against like these more physical, athletic midfields. Would you prefer Arteta to do something different in that midfield? Is that a way to bring Eze back into the fold? Like, what is your thoughts on that? Because he was getting ate up against Aston Villa in that first half. He was getting ate up.
It's a weird one, yeah. And see, with Marino in midfield, it's one where I try to be even more fair than I can be because my bias is I don't like Marino in midfield. I think he's too slow. But to be fair with him, we have pulled some results when he's been in that midfield. I think Marino's cool in midfield when it's them chess matches, when the tempo ain't really that. Like when we played Real Madrid, there's not really a tempo like that. As much as we're excited about Arsenal, Real Madrid, it's just a football game. Like you're getting into the cute half spaces. You see, when it's them end-to-end things, I think he's in trouble. You indirectly touched on it, yeah. The Wenger baby in me wants to say, you know what, if Rice isn't here, because as much as I don't want to accept that, Zubamendi, you kind of be the lone six. Eze, Odegaard, you lot just rotate eights, figure it out. If that's not the case, and I'm not saying it's pretty, but in terms of getting over the line, Mr. Kai Havertz got to go in that left eight, innit? I know there's the Norgard thing. Me and you have spoken how much I want a midfielder. I don't know how fit he is. I think I'm leaning towards Kai in that left eight, man. I have to. You've got the legs in it. You've got the legs. You've got the intelligence. You are going to muck in. When you accept Kai for what he is, I think we can just box smart and get out of there, man. Like, I think we can get out of there, Jess. I don't know, though, man. What would you do? Because I don't think he's not going to go Norgard, in it. I don't think you're going to move Zubi to the left and say, Zubi, you do the right stuff. Norgard, you regulate. I think that's how he gets Kai in. I think that's how you get your Kai, your Odegaard, because he loves them. I don't know, man.
I think you need to be reminded of how poor Havertz is at left eight. It's a serviceable option. To me, it's a serviceable option, but I don't necessarily feel like it works that well. I think I'd prefer to see Eze in there, to be honest.
He ain't gonna do that though, man, because we just been speaking about Eze off the ball. In midfield, he ain't gonna trust you. That's why I don't think Wanyeri gets a look in. That's where I don't think Miles Lewis Skelly. I want to make clear, and the chat's even drawing me out. Yeah, I'm not saying I want this, but Jess asked me a question. I don't want to sit here and lie to you. As Jess said there, articulated it way more than I could. I guess what I was alluding to is the man's serviceable. I don't want to see it on a consistent basis. If Rice is injured, you are going to have to use Marino in midfield. Like, if there's 3 games in 10 days, there's going to be a game. Marino has to play in there. If it's an end-to-end 12:30 kickoff, I am going to go Kai. I'm not expecting... It's not nice, but I think Kai can do it. You might even see a better Gyökeres from that. I don't think there's a solution. Jess, I'm scared if that's the thing, you know.
Listen, like, here's my thing, where I'll give Arteta some... In his mind, I do think it would be kind of insane not to go with the player that has a connection or a partnership that has been tried and true and tested at club and international level. Yeah. I think it would be very strange not to go with Marino in the circumstances.
He trusts Marino. I don't have to trust him. He trusts him. I might not like it, but he trusts him.
And Marino is higher on the pecking order in his mind than he is in our minds. Arteta, like, Mikel is next man up. Mikel Marino is next man up for him. So I think, of course, he's going to use Marino. But would I like to see something else? Probably. I just know I'm not going to. So it's just about, like, we're not going to have to play too many Aston Villa, Chelsea, Newcastles. So, but...
we might see it against Liverpool, let alone Bournemouth.
Yeah, but he was getting ate the fuck up. Like, that first half, I was like, damn, they really were like, cool, Rice out, Marino in. We're just going to go. And Onana was just going in the spot that Rice would have been.
Onana came off as well, be real.
We're lucky. And also, guys, I want you, remember when you guys wanted Onana at this club? That's his biggest problem. Is he could have blamed us right then. He could have kicked the ball right in the back of the net, but he got into the box and